okusooka bamuvunaana omusango gw'obutemu nga kigambirwa nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Ogwokuna 2026 Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center ng'esangibwa Ggaba Christopher Okello yatta Etiku Gideon.
Count 2, murder contrary to sections 171 to 172 of the Penal Code Act. It is alleged that Christopher Okello on the 2nd day of April 2026 at Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center, Ggaba Trading Zone, Ggaba Parish, Makindye Division, Kampala District, with malice aforethought, unlawfully caused the death of Keisha Agenoro Otim.
Omusango gw'okubiri nagwo gwa butemu nga kigambirwa nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Ogwokuna 2026 Ggaba Early Childhood Center yasangibwa Ggaba Makindye Division, Kampala District, Christopher Okello yatta Keisha Agenworth Otim.
In count 3, it is also murder contrary to sections 171 and 172 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 128, and it is alleged that Christopher Okello on the 2nd day of April 2026 at Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center, Ggaba Trading Zone, Ggaba Parish, Makindye Division, Kampala District, with malice aforethought, unlawfully caused the death of Seryange Ignatius.
Omusango gwokusatu nagwo gwa butemu nga kigambirwa nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Ogwokuna 2026 Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center Christopher Okello nga alina ekigendererwa yatta Seryange Ignatius.
And count 4, murder contrary to sections 171 and 172 of the Penal Code Act. It is alleged that Christopher Okello on the 2nd day of April 2026 at Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center, Ggaba Trading Zone, Ggaba Parish, Makindye Division, Kampala District, with malice aforethought, unlawfully caused the death of Odeke Ryan.
Omusango gw'okuna nagwo gwa butemu nga kigambirwa nti ng'ennaku z'omwezi 2 Ogwokuna 2026 ku Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center esangibwa Ggaba Makindye Division mu Kampala, Christopher Okello nga alina ekigendererwa yatta Odeke Ryan.
And when this matter came up, the prosecution was represented by Mr. Jonathan Mwaganya and Ms. Anna Kiza, both chief state attorneys for the Director of Public Prosecutions, while the accused person was represented by Mr. Pumbra Richard and Mr. Wero Sarah on the state brief. And on the watching brief, we had, on behalf of the families of the deceased children, we had Mr. Stanley Okello, Mr. Roger Mugabi, and Mr. Pius Katumba Busobozi from James Advocates. And I know that both counsel for the accused person and the prosecution made oral submissions citing court decisions which I have considered and relied upon in this judgment.
Ng'omusango gutandika oludda olwabi lwaleeta omuwabi wa gavumenti gwe bayita Muwaganya Jonathan ne Anna Kiza, ate oludda lw'omuwabi waliwo ku mbuga Richard ne Sarah Awero ng'abo gavumenti yabawa omuwabirwa, ate nga waliwo balooya bajja olwa families z'abaana abaafa. Asooka waliwo Stanley, owokubiri Roger Mugabi, owokusatu Pius Katumba, ate nti oluvannyuma lw'okuwulira obujulizi balooya enjuyi zonna bawumbawumba obujulizi ne boogera ne ku mateeka ge bagenderako ate kooti ebutunuulidde.
From the facts of the case as laid before this court, this is what I find to be the prosecution case. That the deceased persons, namely Eteku Gideon, aged 2 years and 6 months, Keisha Agenoro Otim, aged 1 year and 11 months, Ignatius Seryange, aged 2 years and 4 months, and Odeke Ryan, aged 1 year and 3 months, were under the care of Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center. And in this case, I will keep referring to it as the center. It's the daycare facility under the management of Ggaba Community Church at Ggaba Trading Zone, Ggaba Parish, Makindye Division, Kampala District. And Ggaba Early Childhood Development Project is run by Ggaba Community Church and operated at Ggaba Early Childhood Development Center, located at Ggaba Trading Zone, Ggaba Parish, Makindye Division, Kampala District.
Oludda oluwaabi lwaleeta obujulizi okulaga nti abaana bano abana asooka Eteku yali wa myaka 2 n'emyezi 6, owokubiri Keisha yali wa mwaka 1 n'emyezi 11, owokusatu Seryange yali wa myaka 2 n'emyezi 4, asembayo Odekeryan yali wa mwaka 1 n'emyezi 3, nga bonna baali mu ssomero lya Ggaba Childhood Development Center, ate ajja kusigala nga akisoma nga center, ate nga essomero lino liri wansi wa church eya Ggaba Community Church nga lisangibwa Ggaba mu Makindye Division, Kampala District.
Keisha Ageesigika, the team was female, while the 3 deceased persons were male. The other 3 were male. And the center was founded by Ggaba Community Church and operates a daycare and an early childhood program for the vulnerable and malnourished children who are identified from the community. The children under the daycare program pay some money, while those ones, the vulnerable, do not pay. Ignitia Seryange, Gideon Eteku were among the vulnerables, while Odekeryan and Keisha again work or team were under the daycare program.
Keisha yali mwana muwala, abalala baali balenzi, nga bonna essomero lino yali wansi wa church eya Ggaba Community Church, ate nga baali balina daycare ate n'okukuumirawo abaana abaali batalina mwasirizo, nga babajjanga mu bantu ne babalabirira, ate nga bagamba baali mu daycare baali basasula, ate be bajjanga mu bantu nga tebasasula.
Christopher Okello, who I will keep referring to as the accused person going forward, is a male adult, an American citizen by nationality and Ugandan by birth. He holds 2 American passports, and those passports were admitted in court as exhibits.
Omuwawaabirwa bamuyita Christopher Okello Onyum, era tujja kusigala nga tumuyita muwawaabirwa, nga musajja mukulu mutuuze wa America naye nga bamuzalira mu Uganda, alina passport 2 nga za America ate zonna bazireeta mu Brazil.
On 31st March 2026, the accused person hired a motor vehicle RAV4 for self-drive. On Wednesday, 1st April 2026, the accused person drove from Namgala Cross, Chanja, where he was residing, to the center, where he met one of the caretakers, Miss Phoebe Namtedi, who testified as PW6.
Ng'ennaku z'omwezi 31 Ogwokusatu 2026, yapangisa emmotoka kika kya RAV4 ng'agenda gyevugira, era nga 1 Ogwokuna 2026 yavuga okuva Namugera Cross Ekyanja gye yali abeera n'atuuka ku ssomero eryo erya center n'asinkana omukyala gwe bayita Phoebe.
And she testified as the prosecution witness number 6.
Ate yajja n'awa obujulizi ng'omujulizi w'omukaaga ku lw'oludda oluwaabi.
The accused person remained outside the gate, and Miss Namtedi went to the gate to find out whether he needed help. And the accused person informed her that he had a child, aged 3 years, and required an admission for her. He asked for the requirements, was informed, and promised to go and prepare to return and make the necessary payments.
Nti yasigala wabweru wa geeti okutuusa Phoebe lwe yagenda n'amubuuza oba asobola okumuyamba. Bwe yamubuuza n'amuddamu nti yali alina omwana w'emyaka 3, yali ayagala kumuyingiza essomero, era n'amubuulira biki byali byetaagisa, kwe kugamba nti kugenda yeetegeke akomewo.
The next day, the 2nd of April 2026, at about 11 a.m., the accused person returned to the center, and when Namtedi saw him, she went to the gate, and the accused person informed her that he had returned to make the payments as he had promised the previous day. PW6 opened the gate for the accused person and brought him to the office of the coordinator of the center, known as Miss Annette Odong Agoye, who testified as PW7.
Nga 2 Ogwokuna 2026 ssaawa nga 5 ez'okumakya omuwabirwa yakomawo n'atuuka ku geeti. Phoebe n'amulaba, bwe yamulaba n'amugamba nti yali aze kusasula era n'amugwirawo geeti n'amutwala mu ofiisi yali akulira ssente eyo gwe bayita Annette Adom era yajja wano ogw'obujulizi ng'omujulizi w'omusanvu ku lw'oludda olwabi.
Miss Namted introduced the accused to Miss Annette and informed her of their encounter and conversation the previous day. Miss Odong welcomed him and also interviewed him pertaining to the details of the child being enrolled. The accused person inquired about the requirements and was informed that he needed to pay a total of Uganda shillings 190,000, which would cover the registration, daycare fees and uniform.
Phoebe yayanjulira omuwabirwa n'amuwanjulira Annette n'amugamba nti baali boogedde ejjo era oli n'amwaniriza n'amubuuza ebikwata ku mwana gwe yali aleeta era n'amala n'amubuulira biki byali byetaagisa n'amugamba nti yali alina okusasula emitwalo 19 nga giriko egy'okumuwandiisa omwana kuliko ejja daycare n'eza uniform.
The accused person who said he had no cash on him asked whether he could pay using mobile money, and he did so on the telephone number of Miss Annette.
Nti yagamba yali tatambudde na ssente nkalu n'asaba nti ssente aziteeke ku mobile money era n'aziteeka ku mobile money ya Annette.
PW7, that is Annette, asked PW6 to issue the accused person with a receipt, and the same was issued to him, and it was receipt number 2958 in the name of Zuriel Onyum.
Nti Annette kwe kusaba Phoebe nti amuwandiikire risiiti era n'awandiika risiiti nga yali mu mannya ga Zuriel Onyum.
The accused then left the office promising to return with the child and the mother on Tuesday the following week, and I take notice that this was the week of Easter and the next working day was Tuesday of the following week.
Nti era yavaawo n'abasuubiza nti agenda kujja n'omwana ne maama w'omwana wiiki eddako olwokubiri era owekitiibwa Omulamuzi alabye nti eyo yali wiiki ya Easter n'olwekyo olunaku olulala lw'okukola lwali lwakubiri.
The accused person then walked out heading towards the gate as Miss Namted, who was still in the office of Miss Annette, bent down to pick the receipt booklet in the drawer.
Era yatambula ng'adda ku geeti Namted yali asigadde mu ofiisi ng'akyateeka risiiti mu drawer.
At that time, some children were in the compound playing, and as Miss Namted rose up to look towards the gate so as to go and open for the accused person to exit the center, she saw the accused person bending while holding a child, and she thought that he was beating the child. She ran outside to establish why he was beating the child, only to reach there and find that the accused person, who was holding a knife, had already cut the neck of one child, and this child was Keisha.
Nti bwe yabadde afuluma abaana abamu baali wabweru nga bazannya nti era Phoebe bwe yagenda okusituka ng'agamba agenda kulewo geeti omuwabirwa afulume n'atunulira mu dirisa n'alaba ng'omuwabirwa akutamye ng'akuta omwana n'asooka n'alowooza nti oli yali akuba omwana n'adduka kumubuuza lwaki yali akuba omwana n'asanga nga yali alina akambe ng'amaze okusala Keisha.
And she was lying in a pool of blood. And the accused person at that time was reaching out for another child.
Yali mu kitaba ky'omusaayi ate omuwabirwa yali agenda ku mwana omulala.
Miss Phoebe asked the accused person why he was cutting the children, and she also threw one of the children's bicycles, which were in the compound, at him to scare him off. The accused person left the child and ran after her, threatening to cut her as well.
Phoebe bwe yamubuuza lwaki yali asala abaana n'amukanyugira n'akagaali abaana ke bali bazanyisa n'asooka n'akaleka n'amugoba n'adduka.
Miss Phoebe ran away from the accused person while making an alarm, but she fell down, and the accused person ran back to the children very fast. And by the time Miss Phoebe returned to prevent or stop him from cutting the children, she found when he had had the second child, and she again threw a basket at him as he was pursuing the third child.
Nti bwe yamugoba oli n'adduka, yadduka ng'akuba emiranga, oluvannyuma n'agwa, bwe